Hello, Melishik here. This is the first of many videos I will be creating on housing and decorating. The reason I wanted to create these videos is when I try to find any real information on housing and everything it entails recently, it just all comes up with videos or posts 8 months to 10 months old. And most of it was just always just basics of what a house could do, never really about decorating or scores or anything like that. Um, I want to show the decorating side of housing and how it all works. I really love the housing system in New World, though I do think it could be a lot better. There's definitely room for improvement. Um, I've played since launch, and I've always loved the different houses people would create. Um, my two other friends, whose houses and creations you will also see in these videos, also share my love of housing in this game. So the first video, I'll just go over some basics of housing as of November 29th, 2022, for anyone new to housing. The following videos that will follow that, uh, I will show different techniques of how my friends and I build certain things. All right, so the basics of housing in New World. Here is a little chart I made for the housing in New World. There are currently 4 tiers of housing all across Eternum. In every city, there's different numbers of tier 1s, tier 2s, tier 3s, and tier 4s. You'll just have to explore, or if you want to find a quick, easy map, you can always Google the city and just look at territory tiers, or house tiers, I'm sorry. Um, each one costs 5,000 more as you go up, and then obviously the higher the tier, the more benefits you get. You do need 30 standing to get a tier 4 house in any city. So, for instance, if you wanted a house in Windsward, you would have to have 30 levels of territory standing there, and also 20,000. The tier also dictates the amount of storage box chests that you can place in your house. So if you have a tier 4, you can place up to 4 storage chests. Storage chests will increase your total storage for that city. You start off with 1,000 in a city, and then for every chest you place, there are 4 tiers of chests. It will increase your storage. So tier 1 chest will increase your storage by 400. Tier 2 chests will increase your storage by 600. Tier 3 chests will increase your storage by 800. And Tier 4 chests will increase your storage by 1,000. You can get some chests. I think the Curse chest can allow you to go. They're 1,050 per chest, so you can get 4,200 total storage extra just from chests. If you have a tier 4 and you bought tier 4 chests. The only way to get chests are to purchase them or find, I think a few of them can be looted out of actual chests on chest runs. I've always made mine or had them made by furniture makers. I've sunk a lot of money into furnishing so that I can make a lot of my own furniture and not have to rely on the auction house. The other benefit you get is a recall. Whenever you purchase a house in a city, you now have a recall to your house. And depending on the tier, for tier 1 it is a 4-hour cooldown, and for tier 4 it makes it a 2-hour cooldown. You can now also use Azoth no matter what. If you had a tier 1 and you recalled to that house and you wanted for some reason to reset that cooldown, you can now pay Azoth to reset it, and the max it'll ever be is 20. And that's even for a tier 4. If you were to teleport to a tier 4 house and it was a 2-hour cooldown and wanted to reset it, it's still 20. It just gets cheaper the longer the cooldown goes down. So if the cooldown's down to an hour for a tier 4, it will now be 10 Azoth. It would take 2 hours for a tier 1 to get down to 10 Azoth to reset it. The tier also determines how many decorations you can place in that house. So for a tier 1, you can only place 100 max decorations. For a tier 4, you can place 200. That is also increased. That amount can be increased when you gain territory standing and pick one of the territory standing cards that come up for housing. It increases housing items by 5. The first time that appears should be level 21 for any zone in standing, and it's every 15 levels after that it should appear. It's 15 to 16. There's a few levels that are weird. It normally every 15 levels you will see that increase housing items you can place by 5. Um, the max lights you can place. The max lights you can place is also determined by the tier. So for instance, a tier 4 can only place 10 lights, which most of the time is never enough. Um, and even in a lower house, having a max of 8 or 6 or 4, it just does not seem like enough. They definitely need to increase that, but that's what you get. There's also max pets. So if you're a tier 4, you can only have 8, and a tier 1 can only have 5. Pets are only really achievable through purchased or events. Some other notes. You can buy your first house at level 15. That's character level. You have to be 15 at least. Your second house, if you want to buy a second one, you have to be level 30. And to get a third house, you have to at least be level 55. The first house you buy is half price. So if you buy a tier 4, it will, for your first house, it will be 10,000 instead of 20, and same with every other tier. It's just half off. You also get a 20% discount on any house that you buy if your faction owns the territory when you purchase it. Storage chests, bonuses, recalls, and trophies will stop working if rent is due in that house. But now you can pay through the map. If it's overdue, it'll tell you, and you can just pay through the map, and then you can use your recall function, or your trophies will work then immediately. Rent is 30% cheaper if your faction also owns the territory. That is pretty much the basics of housing. I will be going into further detail of how housing score works, how furniture works, what furniture gives point-wise, how it's been bugged. New World Housing has been bugged for at least 6 months now, and how to actually use that system to get a house on top. And what I mean by getting it on top, I will dive further into all that in further videos. So I hope you stay tuned. Thanks for watching.